Hey everybody, Raleigh here for another episode of Fish Keeping Jamaica. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so I've done several videos. Yeah, I've done several videos on feeding your aquarium fish, right? And in doing so, I have shared with you the different type of food that you can actually feed your aquarium fish. Point to note: did you know that the stomach of the fish is practically one of the smallest organs in the fish? Mm. And that's because most of the fish food is actually minuscule in comparison to the chunks that probably you might be placing within the aquarium itself. Okay, so the fish actually absorb most of its food from the water that exists in which it that the water that it actually lives in, right? So as it breathes in, taking the water and pushes it out, and the water actually beats against its gill. The gill of the fish actually absorb the nutrients that the fish need so as to survive. That's one of the reasons why you should just tip a little bit of food in the aquarium or the pond or wherever you keep your fish. Uh, don't feel as if because the fish is huge, the fish needs a chunk of food to actually to survive. Most times when a fish actually gorge on a lot of food, um, it leads to health issues. Health issues such as high cholesterol. Yeah, you're going to say, oh, I know this and all that. Do your research. All right, it can lead to high cholesterol. It can lead to fish becoming overweight. It can result in the fish actually find it difficult to swim at a very good pace for a very long period of time, right? So the fish is greedy, especially goldfish. Anything it sees, it will actually takes into its mouth. And that's one of the reasons why I actually did a video where which I shared with you the fact that goldfish will actually try to consume the gravel within its substrate. That's the reason why, depending on the size of your goldfish, you're going to make your substrate, your gravel substrate, the pebbles, very, very large, not so as not to allow the fish to actually take it up in its mouth and swallow it and end up it's stuck in its throat and it actually dies. Right? So the concept of the whole idea of vacation food, fish food. You know what I'm talking about, vacation fish food, right? I shared with you on several occasions this method of feeding your fish. You're going to be going away with your spouse or with your family for a weekend or 2 weeks, and there's this little round ball that you actually place into your, round ball. It dissolves in the water. That you actually place into the water. This is just to prove to you that fish doesn't really necessarily need to eat anything, but it ensures but the water itself needs to be of such that it has all the nutrients in it so as to allow it to stay alive. Alright, so the vacation fish food, this is how it works. You actually drop this little thing in, it looks like a pill, in the water, in the aquarium or in the pond, and it dissolves, and for the period of time in which it says that it is it's good for, like, for example, it might say that it's good for 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 7 days, 14 days, right? It actually dissolves timely within the water, and the fish doesn't actually go up and consume the vacation fish food, right? The fish is there in the water swimming, and that thing, the pill looking thing, the food, it actually dissolves in the water timely. So whenever the fish actually takes in water, whenever the minerals that has been released by the fish vacation food actually dissolve in the water itself, um, it it goes on the gill of the fish. The fish absorb, because the gill is like a sponge. It absorbs the nutrients that the fish need to survive, and the fish is looking healthy and strong whenever you return home. Using this same concept, you should be aware that you can overfeed your fish simply by just by just sprinkling too much fish food in that aquarium space. So how do I know how much food to feed my fish? If you feed your fish and within let's say about 30, but call it about 2 minutes after you feed your fish, you realize that food is actually floating either at the base of the aquarium or floating on the top of the aquarium, but not floating at the base. I don't think I'm float at the base. I mean, like it's sink to the base, right? Yeah, yeah, sink to the base, right? Our fish food is actually floating at the top. You know that you have actually fed your fish too much. When you have fed your fish and it's enough, you should not see any fish food, whether it be flakes or sticks or aqua, whatever fish food. You shouldn't see none at all exist in the water. And this is why a lot of persons have actually purchased I call it now substrate diggers, or should I say certain type of fish, so as to get the waste. Because you know two I have two plecos. I bought them when they were very small. I don't know if I did any videos on them, right? And I placed them into my tilapia fish pond. My tilapias are very greedy. However, my tilapias, they will miss a few of the fish food, and eventually the flakes will fall to the bottom and the pellets will fall to the bottom, right? So what my pleco does, it actually does a cleanup work, right? So I have two plecos and they actually take care of that. Now if you want, you can actually do that. Right, you curry catfish is good also for live bearers. You know, you keep curry catfish with live bearers, just like you might not see much live bearers after a while, because the curry catfish will consume the fries, right? And depending on the size of the curry catfish, you know, some persons have some really huge size curry catfish, right? They might even try to get the medium size live bearers, right? So these fish, along with snails, can act as a cleanup crew for your aquarium. However, bear in mind that it is the water, the minerals in the water, that the fish and the aquatic creatures actually consume, or should I say, use, so as to maintain a healthy life. Not necessarily the food that you're sprinkling. So therefore, that's one of the reasons why I don't find it expensive in feeding my fish anymore, because I really and truly don't really have to, right? That's a different story, right? As far as Oscars are concerned, if you have a bunch of Oscars in a pond, not intending to breed them, but you just have them, a good sized pleco, larger than their mouths, would be awesome, because plecos, excellent choice for the cleanup after Oscar. Oscars are very nasty fish. They will actually, they're going at one caustic pellet, and they'll actually tear the one caustic pellet in two. I know caustic pellet is small, right? They tear it in two, and when they actually swallow it, you'll see a piece of it fly out of the side of the mouth. Yeah, they eat very nasty. So plecos acts like the janitor for aquariums and ponds in which these fish are in. And yeah, you don't need none of those for jaguar cichlids and jack dempseys, right? Those fish are crazy. Once it go in the mouth, everything go down. But as I said before, the stomach is very small, so don't feel so because the fish is large that your fish need a huge chunk of food. I've seen persons feeding their fish live fish, and that kind of turned me off from watching certain channel, right? Because those things are not good for the fish. Although in the wild, persons might say that fish consume fish, but they do it I call it, not on a regular basis, right? Not on a regular basis. Catch you next time. Peace out. There, by the way, fish are opportunistic feeders. Good.